Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the Coming Down to Earth with Spirit podcast with me, David Hale. Like with Season 1, we will continue talking about all things spiritual in a real and down-to-earth way. So I hope you can join me on my podcast journey so you can learn from my own spiritual journey and experiences with spirit in order to help you on your own spiritual journey and development. So join me now as we get into this episode. Well, hello everybody. I hope you're well. Thank you very much as always for listening to this podcast, and thank you for tuning in to this little episode. And this little episode is going to be something a bit different, and it's something I don't do a lot of. Because many of you know me as a spiritual medium, so most of the work that I do is based on mediumship, so I'm connecting to your loved ones in the spirit world. I don't tend to do a lot of psychic work, hence the reason I don't call myself a psychic medium, because I tend not to do a lot of psychic stuff. But in this episode, I want to take the opportunity, as we're coming towards the end of the year, going into a new year, obviously, I want to do a forecast reading. So this is not predictions, right? I'm not Nostradamus. This is just giving you guys something to think about going into next year. And how I've done it is I've got my tarot cards here, and I have divided tarot cards into months of the year, so January to December, obviously. But each set of cards, so the January, February, March, April, May, etc., they represent your birthday. So because I'm not an astrologer, I'm not necessarily into astrology, and I don't always know or remember which months mean which zodiac sign, I've divided it into the birthday months. So if you're a January person, obviously if your birthday's in January, I should say, then the first set of cards is for you. If your birthday is in February, no matter where your star sign falls. So example, I'm a Libra, because I was born in October, but I know that there's a certain point in October, I think it's the 23rd, after the 23rd, you become a Scorpio, not a Libra. So to make it just a bit clearer for people, the set of cards is for the month that you are born in, no matter what your star sign is, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go through each birth month. So, listen out for your month that I'm talking about. What I say here are not predictions. These are just things to be aware of going into next year. So maybe there's a theme for you in particular for 2024. It just gives you something to consider and to think about. And I always say to people, look, this is just my interpretation of the cards. I don't ever say that I'm 100% right, and I don't guarantee any outcomes or anything. It purely is just for guidance, and we have to say also for entertainment purposes, which is something I hate saying, but that's just what we have to say with these kind of things. So in which case, let's get started. So I'm firstly going to talk about the people who are born in January, and again, just to make it clear that this is guidance for the whole year, all right? So it's going to be a tiny little reading, but for the whole year. So of course, things can change throughout the year and all that kind of stuff. So this, again, it's just some give you something to think about for next year. Obviously, everyone is different. So when I'm, for example, giving you guidance for those people born in January, some of you may be able to resonate with it, and some of you may not, because these are just general readings, right? I'm not reading for one particular person, obviously. So if you can take it, then please do. If you can't, then that's also all right. But let's get started. And obviously, we're going to start with those people born in January. So what does 2024 look like or indicate for you? So a couple of things. The first thing I'll say for you January people is to be aware of a person who may try to be emotionally manipulative. And this person, they may already be in your life. I don't know, but it could just be that the cards are coming out because in 2024, that's the year for you to either cut them off or have conversations or whatever. But the indication is there'll be a person who's going to be like an older, like a mature male. When I say mature, I don't necessarily mean in their 80s, but just an older male. So I'm not dealing with a child or a teenager here. This is an adult male, or an adult female with masculine traits, right? Just to make that clear. So it could be male or female. Just Be aware of how they might try to play you. And they may come across as a bit of an attention seeker. They may come across as being a bit, again, as I said, emotionally manipulative. They might come across a little bit volatile. So just be aware of that person. And because I feel like that they may try to pull the wool over your eyes in an emotional sense. So just keep an eye out for that. And obviously, I'm not going to tell you what to do with that, because it's up to you whether you know how you deal with them. But I don't think they're going to be a positive influence in your life. As I say, for some of you, this person may already be in your life and you're going to be fully aware of who they are. But then in 2024, it's up to you what you do with them, because they may continue to be quite emotionally manipulative. So just keep an eye out for them. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean this is a partner I'm talking about. This could also be like a boss at work, something like that as well. But having said that, it feels more somebody who is closer to than that. So it feels like it could be a friend. It could be a friend or indeed a partner. But don't discount a boss at work. But the inference I'm feeling here is more towards someone who is who you know on a personal level. All right. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is, in 2024, let go of any restrictions. Right? Whether they be emotional, mental, physical, whatever. Don't allow other people to tell you how to think and how to feel. Do not conform to other people's ideas or ways of doing things, because you are an individual. And I feel like for you January people next year, it's time for you to stand out as an individual and to stand out as a person with your own thoughts, feelings and ideas, and not having to conform to other people's or feel like you have to conform to other people. So next year for you is also to let go of any restrictions. Right, so that's January done. So if you are born in February, these are your cards. So 2024 for you February people, next year is about a new cycle for you. And I know we all tend to go into the whole thing, oh, new year, new me. It's a new year, new things, new cycle, But I do feel for you February people, it is about new cycles and transitioning into something new. And it feels like maybe this year you felt a little bit stagnant and things haven't quite gone as quick or gone the way that you wanted it to go. But I feel 2024, you are going to be able to do that, or at least have the opportunity to do those things. So for me, this is about moving forward. There's progress, there's opportunity and changes coming, which you didn't quite get in 2023. So the possibilities are there for you to change things. However, you need to detach yourself from either certain toxic people or toxic situations that I feel like some of you have been through this year. And look, many of us have go through those things, right? So people are going to say, oh, it's quite generic, but no, there are commonalities in life, right? And sometimes we do go through really shitty times and toxic times. But some people are lucky not to. I've not been through any toxic times this year. So no, this is relevant to, I feel, the people born in February listening to this. So yeah, so you will be able to move forward and make changes and progress only if, again, you detach yourself from, say people, situations that have been toxic for you, or you felt they've been toxic for you. Maybe you haven't recognized it yet. But if you look back and reflect on 2023, you may find there are certain people or situations that have held you back from your progress and from moving forward. So if you're going to be able to do that in 2024, you need to let go of these people or situations and change something. Because I just feel like you've been a bit tied down. You've been tied to something, or something's been holding you back that you've not been able to move forward with. So keep that in mind for 2024. Okay. March. So if you are born in March, these are your cards of 2024. So for you guys, you could have a really great year next year if you plan things ahead and step outside your comfort zone and make decisions and be decisive. Because I think a lot of us, we can feel comfortable within the comfort zone because it's what we know, and we can actually be a little bit fearful of stepping outside the comfort zone and trying something new. But I think that's all part of what 2024 needs to be for you guys who are born in March, is to do things which they might carry a little bit of fear, but it's only because you're not used to doing it, or it's something that again is outside your comfort zone. But I feel next year for you, in order for you to have a great year, you need to do those things, because I think you'll learn a lot from it. So don't hold back, make those decisions, don't be indecisive. And I think sometimes we can be indecisive if we're trying to make a decision about something that's a bit fearful. Think, should I do that? I could do that, but I'm a bit afraid of it. No, I shouldn't do it. No, I could. So it's making decisions and sticking to it, and plan things rather than be too spontaneous. I think sometimes that can frighten you. It's to do things which are planned to do. We're going to plan to do that. We're going to plan to go here, go there. I do this, do that, whatever it might be. Because if you do those kind of things, I feel like you could have a really good year. You might find that towards the end of the year, there's going to be some cause for celebration, whether it be because, I don't know, you've got a new job or a new house, you've moved, there's a baby born, whatever it might be. It's planning things in order to get to that stage. And I feel like if you do those things, 2024 is going to be positive for you, because we're going to have the foundations laid for what we need to do next. And I don't know why I'm saying that, but it's coming up my mouth, so I'm saying it. So just keep that in mind for 2024. Right, moving on to those born in April. So for 2024 April people, my feeling is with this one, looking at the cards here, is you might find that there is conflict on some level in 2024, right? This is not to be negative or anything like that, but as you know me, I'm quite honest with what I see. So not everything is airy fairy and love and light and rainbows and unicorns, but I'm being honest with what comes out in the cards here. So yes, there may be conflict next year, and I don't know if that's it could be with a partner or family or friends or what have you. But whatever happens, don't allow conflict to affect people's communications or relationships, and don't doubt yourself either, because sometimes when we do get in conflict, we do blame ourselves. What have I done? Is it my fault? Have I said this? Should I have said this? Should I have done that? And it's not to do that if it does happen. Now, like with all the cards, again, I'm not guaranteeing anything here. So you might be lucky enough not to have any conflict next year. That's great. But if you do, just try to not let it, again, as I said before, is to affect people's communications, is to tear people apart. Because look, we can all have disagreements. We can all have differences of opinions, but don't allow that to affect relationships, friendships, or whatever it might be. So stand strong in your beliefs, and don't, again, doubt yourself. And I think that's a theme coming in for this one, for April people, is not to let self-doubt eat you away either next year. Find that confidence, find that self-esteem, and don't doubt yourself is what I want to say. But yeah, just be aware there could be some conflict. I don't know what it's about. Again, we're just talking in general terms here, but don't let those things disrupt the family, relationships, or what have you. All right. So I'm going to leave that there. So May, this is for you. So for 2024 for May people, you need to have some balance. And I feel like this year for you guys has been, you might have felt a little bit off balance. Things have not been quite equal. So for example, if I have used that term, all work and no play, it might be that in 2023 you were working and didn't have a lot of time for having that personal life, the family time or what have you. You might have had a lot more illness this year and less wellness. So it's about 2024 is about getting those things back into balance. All right. And healing this year as well. So when I say healing, it could either be from a physical illness that you've had, but it could also be healing from the breakup of a relationship or losing a job or something. So 2024 there's a big healing aspect for you guys born in May as well. And also this year, don't be too hasty about doing things. think about them beforehand. Don't just jump straight in, because they may not work out the way you want it to. So if someone offers you an opportunity which sounds really fabulous, think about it first. Use your intuition to feel it first. Don't just jump straight into it, because it might be detrimental to you, your emotions, or to your own personal development. So I would say 2024, take time for healing, get some balance back, and don't be too hasty, and just find a bit of patience. So if you're naturally an impatient person, which we can all be, I certainly can be, try and find that patience within you and think about things first before you do them. All right. So that was May. So let's move on to those born in June. So for you June people, similar to those born in May, 2024 for you is about releasing self-doubt and finding that, I don't know what I want to say, personal power, willpower. And sometimes in order to do that, you're going to have to self-reflect. And what I want to say with that is 2024 is the year of not sweeping things under the carpet. 2024 is about facing things head on and dealing with them, because it's one of those things that the more you sweep it under the carpet, the more you're going to find all the dirt later, and it again just builds up and builds up and builds up until there's so much dirt it's really hard to clear away, right? Just symbolic, that just dropped in my head out of nowhere, but symbolically that's what it's like. So 2024 is about facing things, dealing with them, not sweeping it under the carpet, because that's where you'll find your personal power, by dealing with something, putting it to bed so you can move on. But the only way you're going to move on is to solve that issue and to face it. And also, this might sound a little bit random, but avoid people who are overly dominant, or those kind of people who this is their way and that's it. They're very inflexible. You can't change their mind. You can't get them to think another way. Whatever that is, which I don't know, is to avoid people like that. So it may be, again, it could be a boss at work. It could be someone in the family who is a know-it-all. I want to say, try and avoid those people. And sometimes, look, the family, you can't avoid them, right? But what I mean is, it's not necessarily getting into conversations with them, because they could be likely to talk down to you, which then affects your self-esteem, right? And 2024 is about, recognizing your personal power and that kind of thing. So it's to avoid kind of situations like that if you possibly can, but ultimately face situations that's been going on. This could be from the tail end of 2023, where you've had stuff going on this year, you've tried to ignore it, but actually 2024 is time to face it, sort it out, get it out of the way, so then you can move on, right? So that was June, for you June people. So for July, for you guys, so if you're born in July, 2024 for you, this one is about letting go of something or someone who has, there's an emotional attachment here, and I don't feel this is based on a work thing or career thing. This feels very much to me like there's an emotional attachment here. So this could be to do with a partner, or indeed family, friend, or what have you. And I feel like 2023 has been a little bit tough, and there might have been some slight depression for you as well. And look, as I said before, this is not necessarily going to fit everybody born in July, because I'm assuming that not everyone who was born in July had depression in 2023, right? If that makes sense. But it feels like 2023 has been really tough, and I feel like we need to put things to bed in 2024. But there's going to be a sense of sadness behind it, because it feels like you're going to be letting something go which has been very dear to you, or someone that's been very dear to you. But sometimes we need that in order to move on and to change our priorities. And what that can then do is allow you to then move on to seek a deeper meaning of yourself, or a deeper meaning of what life is. So in 2024, it's not to be negative here or put a sad spin on anything, but again, it's to be honest and just be aware that you may need to do that is to let go of something and to leave the past behind so you can, as I said, move on to something new. But also it's almost a little bit of soul searching. Maybe that's the theme for 2024 for July people, is it's a year of soul searching. But to do that, you're going to need to sadly leave something or someone behind so you can do that. That was July. So for August people, now next year, for those of you born in August, 2024 looks quite exciting in the sense of lots of new things coming up. So from a creative point of view, but also from a work perspective as well. So you might find that 2024 is the year where you are offered multiple opportunities and you're going to have to use your instincts to pick and choose what you want to do. And to add to that, 2024 is going to be a year of expansion for you guys born in August. And what I mean by that is expansion from a knowledge base, expansion from a personal development space, because there's a lot of growth here, and growth within you, growth within your skills, growth within your workspace. So you might find that a new job opportunity may come up, which actually allows you to be creative. It allows you to use your potential to its fullest. Because I feel like in 2023 up until now, that you might feel like where you are at the moment, that you don't feel like your skills are actually being utilized properly, or you don't feel like you're able to use certain skills or make certain decisions in the role that you're in. Even if you're a manager, and I talk from personal experience here, you might be a manager who has a manager above them, but you're always shot down. Your ideas are always shot down, and you can't make decisions, although you are a manager. So it feels a little bit like that. So 2024 feels to me like that's going to change, and you're going to be able to do something where you can make decisions, you can come up with new ideas. And I also feel like you're going to see things differently next year. For whatever reason, I don't know whether it's because, again, it's a new year, new me thing, but it feels like 2024 for you August people is going to be a year where your eyes really open and you're really going to see things for what they are and have some clarity there. So that's what I want to say for you August people. So September people. So 2024 for you guys is quite similar to August, and it can be because obviously the months flow into each other. But 2024, it might be a bit of an emotional roller coaster year for you guys. And that could be both good emotion, or it could be a sadness as well. So, emotions come in many forms, as we know. There could be laughter, joy, happy tears, might be sad tears. But just feel that there's a lot of emotion around 2024 for you guys. But also, you might find that you do take 2024 as an opportunity to learn a new skill, whether it be an online course, whether it be, doing an evening class somewhere. But you might find that 2024, you really get into a creative mood and in the mood to learn a new skill. Because I think sometimes, we go through life, paying bills, working, what have you. But it's like 2024 might be that a new lease of life for you. And for you, that new lease of life could be learning something new, or using a talent which you haven't maybe used before, or you haven't had the opportunity to use this year. So do keep that in mind, is not allowing 2023 to spill into 2024. Take 2024 as that new beginning, as we always say, again, new year, new me, new start, all those kind of things. Really take the time to think about, okay, what do I want to learn that's new? Where can I utilize my talents, or where can I showcase my talent? So do think about that, because I feel like 2024 is the year really to now get stuck in and to do something new. So now for October people. Oh dear, this is my birthday month. So let's see what the cards have got to say about this one, shall we? So for those of you born in October, so in 2024, get the balance right, especially when it comes to finances. make sure you know what's coming in, what's going out. Make sure you've got all your ducks in order. But also it could be also the balance in life as well. It could be quite a busy year. Look, we can all be busy no matter what month you're born in, right? But if you're born in October, you might find 2024, you are going to be quite busy, and you need to be able to prioritize and do things that need doing, not putting them off. And so to add to that, it's about being organized. So next year, 2024, make sure, again, you are organized, you prioritize things, you get the balance right. Otherwise, you might find yourself being off kilter. And that's typical for Libras, and Libras are born in the month of October, right? And I mean, the consensus is that Libras are balanced. No, we're not. We seek balance, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we are balanced. So this card actually fits in really nicely for October born people. But also with that, alongside getting the balance, make sure you prioritize, your time management is sorted, or that kind of thing. It's also next year, it's being decisive. And it is not, again, similar to one of the other cards, it's about not being careless and jumping into things without really thinking them through first. Do not be foolish into thinking what this person is offering you is 100% the real deal. Think about it first, feel it first, and see where your instincts and your intuition takes you with it. Please don't just jump into the first thing that's offered to you next year. Okay, so that's you October people. So now for you, those of you born in November. So 2024 is a year you're really going to find your power and stand in your power and have courage. So 2023 could have been one of those years where you have felt a bit fearful about things, no matter what it is. You might have been putting things off, you're too scared to do them. But 2024 really is about finding your power, standing in your power, and then taking action on things that need to be taken and having the bravery to tackle certain things. But next year's also going to be about having patience and perseverance as well. So again, similar to one of the other cards that came out somewhere else, it's not being too impulsive or hasty as well in 2024. I think it's about having patience with certain things, but also persevering. So if you're feeling that, if you're a certain person who, you want to get things done quickly, you don't like hanging around, just get it done, get it sorted. 2024 is going to be the year where you have to hold back a little bit and try to find that patience within and not want to go too fast with something. So keep that in mind next year, is not to be too hasty or too impulsive. Be patient and persevere with certain things. So if they're not going your way at that particular time, just persevere with it, right? But again, as I said a minute ago, it's also about having courage and finding your power and having the courage to tackle things. And they might be a bit uncomfortable for you, but certain things will need to be actioned next year. And this might sound slightly off track as well. It might not fit with the theme of what I'm saying, but there's also the need for compassion next year as well. So I'm sure if you're listening to this, you are a compassionate person, but there might be situations which do test your patience, but you'll need to be compassionate with it, because you might find there'll be a certain person acts a certain way, but there's a reason for them doing it. It's not because they're a naturally horrible person. It could just be they're going through something and they're going to need you to be that listening ear, and you're going to need to be their strength for that person. So be patient, have compassion with it as well. That's November. Right, lastly, let's move on to those of you born in December. So in 2024, for you December guys, it's a year for repair, recuperation, regeneration. That all might sound very lovely and a bit odd, but it does feel like 2023 has been a heck of a year for you guys, whether it be from grief of losing a loved one, whether it be through a relationship breakup, whether it be through, I don't know, being made redundant or losing a job. Either way, I feel emotionally exhausted, and actually physically exhausted for some of you as well. So 2024 is about the year of, and I don't want to sound again airy fairy or, you know, rainbows and unicorns, but it really is the year, I feel, for healing for you guys, for taking that time to take better care of yourself in whatever way that is, right? Whether it is getting more sleep, whether it is meditation, whether it is going to a spa weekend or something. 2024 really is about looking after yourself and taking better care of your health, is what I want to say. So use 2024, again, a new start, a new year, to really think about how you can look after yourself better. It might even be about eating better, getting exercise, again, getting more sleep, meditate, as I've just said as well. But it's really taking a well-earned and well-deserved rest, and taking care. And I'm not saying, you know, you have to rest for the whole year, because that would be ridiculous, right? We're busy people, we've got stuff to do. But it's taking care of yourself whilst you are being busy, and not feeling guilty for wanting to take some time out or taking a break away from something. So I really feel that 2024 is a year of health for you guys, for those of you born in December. But that's it. That I didn't go in too much depth with everybody, otherwise I'd be here for hours and hours, right? So that's just my guidance based on the tarot cards. And look, people might say, well, why didn't you tell me what their card actually was? Well, to be honest, I'd be here again forever telling you what each card was, but also I don't think what card it is actually relevant, as long as I've given you my interpretation and my meanings of the cards as well. So I hope that does help people. I hope it gives you some insight. You might already be able to relate to some of what I've said already, which then may feed into next year, and then you can make those changes that has been suggested in the cards. Again, as I said at the beginning, these are not predictions. These are just guidance from what the cards say at the particular minute. As I said, I don't fortune tell, I don't predict, because I'm not Nostradamus. But they may just give an indication of things that could possibly happen. But again, we're all different. So, those of you, let's say in January, some of you may be able to take that and some of you may not. It's just their general card readings, right? But if you do want a guidance reading, a personal guidance reading, I do offer those as well on request. They're not available to book on the website. But if you would like a guidance reading for 2024 based on specific questions that you have, then do get in touch with me by email at davidhmedium@outlook.com, or you can message me through my Facebook page. But that's it. Thank you very much for listening. The next episode, I should be back with an exciting interview with a medium based in Canada. So that will be coming on, hopefully, if I can get it edited and everything else on time, it will be out and available on the 24th of December. So that's Christmas Eve, obviously. So you've got something to listen to when your family or friends are passed out on the sofa from copious amounts of food and drink. So I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it relatively interesting, or even entertaining, or informative even. But as usual, thank you very much for listening to this episode and to my podcast, and I'll speak to you all soon. Well, there you have it. That's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed what you heard and you found it interesting. There are plenty more episodes to come, so stay tuned, and I'll speak to you all soon.